that this team has been a little suspect on. We always talk about how good the Patriots are on the back end with their secondary, but we don't talk about the interior of their defense, and that's exactly where the Tennessee Titans want to bludgeon you on offense. There's a reason why Ryan Tannehill led the league in passer rating, and there's a reason why he led the league in yards per attempt. It's because he's getting a lot of chunk play opportunities in the play-action passing game because teams are selling out to stop the run. So if you're the New England Patriots, you absolutely have to slow down Derrick Henry. You can't let him average 5+ yards a carry. Otherwise, you're going to set up opportunities for Ryan Tannehill and A.J. Brown to get some big plays in the passing game. And we've already seen that Patriots offense is not an explosive offense. If you let this Titans team get up on you early, that could spell big trouble for the Pats.
Yeah, they definitely have to stop the run. Obviously, Derrick Henry and not making those business decisions on the back end, which you saw a lot of teams at the end of the season were saying, I don't want to tackle 6'4", 250.
Especially at the end of games.
Yeah, at the end of the games, they were saying, I don't want to do that. I would add to the Patriots' success, they have to be able to run the football. Just imagine what you saw last year from guys like Sony Michel in the playoffs. Against the Chargers, first round, 24 carries, 129 yards, 3 touchdowns. Against the Kansas City Chiefs, 29 carries, 113 yards, 2 touchdowns. And then in the championship game, 18 carries, 94 yards, and a touchdown. You have to be able to run the football in the postseason and stop the run if you want to be successful, especially if you're not getting the chunk plays down the field from Tom Brady and Philip Dorsett or N'Keal Harry. You have to be able to run the football. If they can do that, they got a chance to keep going and not be upset by the Tennessee Titans.
Your point on Sony Michel's a great one. After the spectacular playoff run, I think a lot of people expected him to be the centerpiece of the Patriots offense this year, and he responded by not having a single 100-yard game all season, struggling mightily. Maybe it's the offensive line turnover, maybe it's James Devlin not being there, whatever it is, he has not been the player in year 2 he was in year 1. And Nick Chubb, who we were talking about earlier with the Browns, his teammate at Georgia, a lot of people thought Chubb should have been the pick for the Patriots in that spot. They pass on Chubb, they take Sony Michel. All Nick Chubb did was finish second in the league in rushing, second only to Derrick Henry. But I look at this game a little bit differently. You guys are talking about the Patriots stopping the run, the Patriots running the football. If Tom Brady doesn't turn the ball over, they'll win. The last game they lost where Brady played a clean game was the Miami game last year that involved 7 laterals at the end of the game to beat them. Every game they have lost this year has included a critical Brady mistake, and I think it's gotten to the point with Belichick after the pick 6 against Miami where he has lost some faith in Brady as far as one thing this year Brady has done at an elite level is not turn the ball over, is not make the critical mistake. Trust, he has said it on countless interviews, he being Brady, we're a defense and special teams oriented team. It's our job to take care of the football. Yet in their 4 losses, he has 4 interceptions, all of which either while the Pats had a lead they were trying to extend or in the midst of a possible Patriots comeback that gets stifled by a Tom Brady pick. So I think if he plays a clean game, as good as Tannehill's been this year, and Tannehill led the league in passer rating, led the league in yards per attempt. It's not like he only played 6 games, played 12 games. He was sensational. And as good as Derrick Henry was this season, I don't think the Titans can go to Gillette and win a game where the turnover battle's even. Certainly if they lose the turnover battle, they are sunk. But if the Pats just play them even, I feel like the Patriots are going to have a special teams edge, not as far as making field goals, but as far as either blocking punts, returning kicks, doing something in that regard. And the home field advantage there is so enormous. To me, the question is, can Brady play a clean game? Because if he doesn't, then the Titans can start doing what they love, which is dare you to sell out against Derrick Henry. And they got 2 wide receivers that can hurt you now. A.J. Brown has been sensational as a rookie, and Corey Davis had a bit of a down year. The last time Corey Davis played the Patriots, he hit him for 7 and $125 and a touchdown, lighten up Stephon Gilmore. Now, I don't know who Stephon Gilmore is going to be on. Either way, it's going to be a tough cover. So I'm very curious to see what the Patriots' offensive game plan is, if they trust Brady to drop him back 40 times, or if they say, play a clean game and we think our defense can handle an all of a sudden potent Titans offense.
Well, I think you have to trust the identity of what your team has been the entire year, which is defense and special teams. That's where the Pats are at. You know where the Titans are at. They want it to be that run game with Derrick Henry and that offensive line. Now, the way that you can get at the Titans offensively is if you put them in long downs and distances, because they've given up the second most sacks in the National Football League. I think they've given up 56 sacks on the season. So if you can get them in that type of game, then obviously it would be advantage Patriots. But you also have to recognize that the Titans are undefeated when Derrick Henry rushes for over 100 yards. So that to me is where it starts for the Patriots. That's your path to victory. I have a hard time believing that we're going to see a completely clean football game because both defenses are top 10 in takeaways. So you know that somebody is going to force some turnovers. If you're the Patriots, you recognize how important that is to your success, being able to create some extra possessions, short fields for your offense, a unit that has struggled to move the ball consistently all year long. It's also a unit that struggles in situational football on third downs and in red zone. So if you're that Pats defense, you want to try to have this keep away mentality with the Titans offense. Allow your offense to have as many possessions as they can and put them in as many situations as you can. Give them opportunities to score points.
One of the things that every time I think of playing the Patriots, you think of the mystique. You think of going into Gillette. You think of Tom Brady across the field and Bill Belichick. One of the things that I don't think the Titans are going to be worried about is that mystique. Mike Vrabel, he was there for a long time. He understands who Bill Belichick is. He understands the culture there in New England. And I think the teams that have beat New England this year, Kansas City, the Ravens, they went there and they weren't scared. They weren't afraid. They weren't saying, hey, we're going to bow down to the Patriots and kiss the rings. They didn't say any of that. And I think this Tennessee Titan football team is going to be the same exact way. They're going to go in there. They're going to get after it. They have one of the most aggressive and nasty coaches I played against in football. And when you think about this thing, this is what they have to do. They have to get the run game going. But Ryan Tannehill has to be the guy that he's been since replacing Marcus Mariota. He's been the guy that's been first in passing. He's been first in yards per attempt and first in completions all season long since he's played. If he can get that, if we can get that out of Ryan Tannehill, then the Titans can win this football game in Gillette.
The Vrabel angle is a really interesting one because I think people think of Vrabel as like, oh, he was one of Belichick's assistants. He never was. He was with the New England Patriots. He wanted a new contract after the 2008 season. Not only would they not give it to him, they threw him in the Matt Castle trade to Kansas City. After helping him win 3 Super Bowls, helping him have the undefeated season, they traded him away to a place he didn't really have much interest in going in Kansas City. And then where did he get his coaching start in the NFL? It was not with Bill Belichick. It was with Bill O'Brien, who obviously was part of the Belichick's tree. Vrabel made the point. He said, I haven't collected a paycheck from New England in over 10 years, since 2008. So not that he wouldn't be at maximum motivation for a playoff game, but there's just a little extra, I think, with this that Belichick it did not, nurture him along the way he maybe did Brian Flores, the way he maybe did Bill O'Brien. Vrabel's had to go do this on his own, and now he has a chance, I'm sure he feels, to put the nail in this dynastic coffin. So we will see that this weekend. Coming up, will the Cowboys be a playoff team next season? Because they ain't won this season.
2 things that need to be fixed, and they're really overused words in the NFL, but I think they're used for a reason, and because it's very, very important. Culture and character. I think they have all the talent that you can ask for. They have 2 all-star receivers. You have a great running back. Offensive line needs some work. I think your quarterback is going to need some adjusting, but they need a better culture and character. And when you look at this football team, I think back to the Kansas City Chiefs before Andy Reid got there. They were 2-14 the last year of Romeo Cornell. They were absolutely terrible. They had a bunch of good players on that football team, though. And when Andy came in with a better culture, he built a better character inside that locker room. They were 11-5 the next year, made it to the playoffs. They have an opportunity here in Cleveland to do something that they haven't done in 17 years, which is make the playoffs if they find the right guy. But that guy has to come in strong-handed and say, this is what's going to be allowed now, and all that stuff that you did before, none of it's going to be allowed. If they can do that, they can build that culture. They can build that character in that locker room to go along with the talent that they have, and they can win, be a winning football team. It can happen overnight. It won't happen overnight, but it can because you have that talent on that football team. You just have to bring the right guy in.
Yeah, you see a lot of teams go from worst to first throughout the National Football League from one year to another, and I think the Cleveland Browns have the talent to be able to compete for that division title, even with the Baltimore Ravens, who are a 14-2 team now, the #1 seed in the AFC. The Cleveland Browns are a very talented team. From that regard, John Dorsey did his job, but the one thing that he failed to do was identify who the head coach of this team needs to be, and that's why